All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for RWBY Volume 6.
The trailer.
Yes. It's here.
Early.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it's early.
Yeah.
Volume 6's trailer has dropped.
Yeah.
And guys, it's only 11 days. 11 days until October 27th.
And then we get more RWBY.
And we get more RWBY.
Yep.
And we had the Adam character short that we both watched at RTX.
Yes, which was fantastic.
Which was very
wonderful.
Very good. I really liked it.
Yes.
And a lot more than I thought I was going to.
Adam character short.
Yeah, and now we have a proper kind of volume trailer.
Right.
Last time we had one of these, it didn't really give too much away. So hopefully this is kind of like, teasing the first 4 episodes, maybe like an image from like
it'll just
few
show like
more
a
episodes
factory with a
in.
bunch of pennies getting cranked out or something, something like that.
I mean, we know that they're going to Atlas, and
It's true.
then we have all that comes with things there.
Right.
But yeah, we're hyped, guys. RWBY's back. We're back. Let's do this.
This looks gorgeous.
Whoa.
It's important not to lose sight of what drives us.
Who's that?
Looks like some sort
Yang's,
of grandma character.
Love,
Yeah.
justice,
Oh.
reverence. But the moment you put your desires before my own, they will be lost to you.
Oh, okay.
This isn't a threat. This is simply the truth.
All right. Attacks on a Train, RWBY Semblance. New characters, the Relic. Okay, I love this new grandma character.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh!
What's the plan, RWBY?
Don't let anyone else die.
Not a bad plan.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Wow.
Okay.
All right. You know what I loved about that trailer? I don't know jack about what's going on in the volume other than they're going to Atlas. Like, maybe if we analyzed it frame by frame, we'd get a little bit. But no, that was perfect. Well done. Well done, Roosterteeth. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, we are back in business, everyone. RWBY Volume 6 has them going north. They get on a train. I feel very Volume 2 about this kind of whole setup.
The train, the food court, is okay. It doesn't have to have a food fight. But that would be pretty cool. And also, it's just the fact that it's in a food court, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and now, okay.
So, do you want to talk about the things that are kind of the simpler things first, and then move over to the more complicated things?
Sure. So they're in Atlas.
So they're going to Atlas, then they arrive in Atlas. So the whole volume doesn't take place with them traveling to Atlas.
Right.
That is a welcome change.
Well, there were some traveling montages.
Yes.
And there's a new character.
There's a new character. Yes. She seems to be kind of a older, mechanized kind of water tribe.
Or at least she has
lady,
mech goggles of some kind. Which is cool.
But I think that's going to be someone from maybe the older Kingdom of Mantle, perhaps.
Maybe
someone who's in the area that's subservient to Atlas, perhaps.
Possibly.
I think that there's going to be some clever world building done in this volume.
Yes.
There were a lot of shots of, I would say, different environments and stuff. So maybe they're particularly learning from, I would say, taking the best things of Volume 4 and bringing them into the whole traveling side of things, but not having the Volume 5 problem, or really the Volume 4 problem, where we're either just sitting around talking, or there's just walking without any plot happening.
Because there is technology in this world, even if it's a bit different than our own, and transportation is one of the big things that people do with technology.
Yeah, so maybe there's going to be kind of a consistent, we move, and then some story beats, move, some story beats, move, some story beats, and then the jump around just enough to where it doesn't get crazy. but we still have kind of a feeling that the world is large and the villains are doing things. People who aren't necessarily in the traveling group are doing things. But there was a lot of cool Grimm. There was a lot of really cool stuff going on in the backgrounds.
The visuals of course, were like, took a massive upgrade from Volume 5, which is, again, it's just awesome.
Rooster Teeth, you're killing it. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better. It's something that's awesome that we keep thinking back to Volume 1, and this is how far we'll go, at least as of this point, but we can go even further beyond this, in years to come. So,
and of course, visuals aren't like the only thing, right?
Right.
Because the visuals weren't the problems that people had with, Volume 4 and 5.
No.
But the fact that they have the train there, that's awesome. I'm also curious if they didn't seem to be using this train. That seemed to be more like some action was about to happen.
No, I think they were using the train. They just had to get on top of it when they got attacked.
Possibly.
I think
if they were actually needing to steal something from the train?
That seems very heavily extrapolated with no real data to support it.
Yeah, but that was just what came to mind. But I think the big thing that we need to sort of ask about is
no. There's a lot of other things. There's a lot of other things. I know what you're going towards and stuff. But we have dead Faunus. We have Adam screaming at the throne,
and the throne has been had part of it cut off.
Yeah. So something happened there. I think in some ways it's maybe something where because he failed, Salem exacted revenge on him and his group of Faunus in some way. Yeah.
Right. Adam has fallen out of favor, and just because he managed to survive and got back.
Right. There has been some build-up based on what they showed at RTX that there's going to be a very intense Manticore Grimm of sorts.
Yes.
And I think that this could be one of the acts of that Grimm, potentially. Or they use someone like Tyrion. I'm trying to think of who would be the most violent... What would be the most violent tool Salem could have to go and just slaughter the Faunus? I think that Tyrion is a pretty good... use his blades.
As his basically way of just, all right,
you're back in action. Go do things.
Or you better not mess up on simple tasks like this.
Sure. It also, in some ways, Tyrion is Salem's. What's that guy from Babylon, the eye for an eye guy? But basically, her form of justice, balance.
Sure.
He has his whole twisted philosophy of,
putting it. Yeah. Tyrion justice. That's
I mean, vengeance maybe on Adam and all of his people and stuff.
Now,
do we want to talk about it now?
Yeah, I can't. I try to think about other things, but that's just.
It's okay. So we have a guy floating and people bowing to him. Now let's be real. This is a guy. It could totally
be a girl. Because all we saw was clothing, but it looked like a dude's clothing. So it's probably a dude.
It's something that also seems to be a potential flashback because this is something that again Volume 6 is probably going to delve into based on stuff they talked about at RTX. In that we're going to be getting a lot of context and how the past matters in the present conflict.
Sure.
And there was someone in the background on the tree that
looked like they'd just been defeated or killed.
Looked like they had been they had been beaten in some kind of a fight. And maybe that person was antagonistic towards the people bowing, and this person is being like, I just stopped them for you.
Now
who in the past, as a guy, had incredible power and
Hazel? It's Ozpin.
Ozpin backstory,
pretty much. It
seems like basically Ozpin backstory confirmed.
If they didn't want to have it be Ozpin backstory, they could do the switcheroo of it actually is a woman in
it's Raven,
or dude's clothing, or Raven, or right. And then it's the whole thing of it's one of the maidens, whether it's Raven or someone else, right? But barring that, probably Ozpin, which is really cool because that's that.
I think
they can do a lot of things with that.
I think that if they wanted to tease something big in the trailer, which it seemed like they actually did a good job of not teasing anything too big. The biggest thing I think in terms of WTF was basically the Faunus all being dead. And
but
she called it.
Then,
the reason why I called Tyrion her justice was because she said justice, and then it panned over the shot of.
Oh,
the
right.
stuff.
Oh, yeah. I get that. It's just one of those things where, like, justice, that makes it
Oh yeah,
that was very intentional and kind of ironic.
Yes, it just a little bit. But what do you guys think? Ozpin backstory confirmed not only with basically things we've heard from RWBY, but specifically from this trailer. Do you think that is a scene from Ozpin's backstory, or do you think it's a maiden? Because there are a lot of people with powers that could just explain that away, like that's just someone's semblance,
right?
Like it doesn't have to be something crazy. But
the fact that it was like the slow float,
it just like we saw with Amber,
mm-hmm.
Like we've seen with even Cinder. I mean, I don't know if Cinder has directly done a slow float like that.
Not quite like that, but when she was fighting Pyrrha, she was in the air,
she just had a flame underneath her, and she only had half the maiden power at that point.
No, at that point she had full.
Oh, she had full?
Because she had half before, and then she got the other half.
Oh, right. I'm dumb.
I really am excited to see this grandma character and how she ties into the plot.
Yes!
Because that's the thing that actually was the biggest question for me. Is, okay,
why?
Who is she, of course, but why is she here, and why is she with the RWBY? Like, because that seemed like one of those things where they're basically, like, escorting a person of interest. Like maybe she was someone that helped work on the pennies or something like that, or or something. Like when I think mechanical goggles, I think someone that is like does techie type stuff.
I assume the techie type thing, but I saw more so someone that's not a person in high standing necessarily in society.
Right, or at least not anymore. That's one of the things that you can do when you have someone that's very old.
That's a good point. Yeah, but I'm only concerned really with the present at this moment.
Right,
but the potential of where they are connected to the characters, I would say it's not a family-based connection.
Right,
it's a plot-based connection.
Yeah, because the only character connection we have to Atlas, other than Penny, is Weiss and the Schnees, and pretty sure this lady is
Ironwood.
Yeah.
Maybe this says Ironwood's mom. No. No, I think she's actually a local. I think that she has maybe some knowledge about how to get into Atlas, because if Atlas is sealing its borders, there might be a bit of an issue with them even coming to Atlas.
Maybe.
So in some ways they might have to not fight Atlas, but they might have to be, kind of rogue-ish and figure that whole thing out. And then she could be their in. And I'm really buying the whole thing that, because they've been setting up Mantle constantly throughout the story with little teases and stuff. She would be the perfect introduction for I would say the less invested kind of RWBY watchers to know what Mantle is. Because I think for the most part, people that watch RWBY kind of casually will be like, Mantle? The hell is Mantle? I have no idea what that is. And maybe we could have a character who would be our focal point of the story too.
One of the other things that I was kind of surprised by was and this was only for a little bit, so it's like, okay, this probably isn't, these characters probably aren't that important, but the lady sitting at the desk with her two assistants or bodyguards or whatever, that seems like the kind of thing where basically they're going to maybe a sketchier area and they need a favor of some kind, possibly like getting smuggled into Atlas or something, and the old lady helps them find this person, or I don't know, and then they take over from there, or who knows.
I also think that the color design of being so purple actually hints at them being in Mistral still at this time, and this is basically their way of getting into the country.
Gotcha.
Or even the continent.
Sure. So they get them to the continent, like to Mantle, for instance, or whatever.
No, Mantle isn't the continent.
No. I know Mantle is a.
Oh, Mantle is
If they get them to a place that maybe has more lax security than Atlas itself.
Sure.
And then from there, the old lady takes over and gets them in.
Right. Right. And then the train seems like something that would be connecting Mantle and Atlas. So maybe they're
stowing away.
Maybe they don't actually have that much issue getting to Atlas. Maybe they're basically like, hey, we will protect the train in exchange for transport or something. I think on some level, Crow should be able to contact Ozpin once he gets within a local CCT tower's range and then if he can contact Ironwood, then he'd be like, hey, we're here to help.
Sure.
And I think Ironwood's not so unreasonable that he would, be like, no, you can't come in.
Right, he'd probably be like, oh, I might actually have a specific thing that I need your guys' help with, or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah. But I'm just looking for a blend of, in some ways, the bits that they did right in Volume 4, which I think Volume 4 actually has some of the best moments in RWBY as a series. Like,
specific moments? Yeah, it has some pretty great moments.
Like, specific moments, and in some ways, how they did the themes with the travel. And then in Volume 5, in some ways, they actually had a lot of the, like, really important... I would say kind of conversations that needed to happen. Some of them weren't handled as well. Yeah. But I really want kind of a return to form for RWBY with kind of taking some of the inspiration of Volume 4 and 5, but really taking like maybe Volume 2, going on like, missions and stuff, having every episode have a purpose and stuff without necessarily being like desired to have a fight in it,
Yeah. One of the things there were a few things that like stood out from the trailer of just like that were more like specifics. But that creepy bit with Tyrion and Emerald, that was
curious.
Now see, I
because no Mercury.
No Mercury, but here's the thing. It's not the fact that they seemed antagonistic, right? Because one, it's Tyrion, and two, Emerald had all the stuff that happened last volume, so I would absolutely believe
Lost Cinder.
Lost Cinder, exactly. So like the thing that Salem was saying about like having interests or goals that are not aligned with mine, or whatever, that could totally be talking about Emerald.
Sure.
In which case, what's happening there totally makes sense. But like the way they specifically placed it with like her having her blades out and then like him ducking underneath, and for some reason she was like leaning way back and like his hands made it look like he was trying to grope her or something, and like it was just. Yeah. Weird.
It was weird because I think that, upon like, thinking about it a few more times, he's probably taunting her because, Cinder is gone. At least, lost.
Sure.
Gone.
On her alone episode, whatever.
Yeah, and they, they are not really in Salem's inner circle. They're more of attaché to someone that
is no longer there.
Right. So maybe in some ways Tyrion is flexing his ability to just not fear Cinder's repercussions,
Sure.
And in some ways Emerald, that puts her in a really bad place, and something that I've been waiting for a lot is to build upon the characterization of Emerald and Mercury that they introduce in Volume 3 a little bit here, because this is their opportunity to change. They don't have their main plot character connecting them to the antagonist's story and goals and all that.
And we might not get that as much with Mercury, but it looks like we're definitely gonna get it with Emerald, and that's the main thing that made me glad that scene was there, even though I didn't really like how it was like shot. What it communicates for the story as a whole, cool, awesome. And then there were two other things, and these are much more minor details, but
what's that?
RWBY giving her line of, the plan is to make sure no one else dies, right? That as a line, I love, right? The idea of let's just make sure no one else dies. Here's the thing. It kind of needs to be delivered in a very specific setting. Where the threat of death is very real, because with the kind of threats that they deal with all the time, right? If it's not something where they are actually terrified that they might die here, then it seems it's just kind of a throwaway line, which is okay, because RWBY would be thinking about those things because she has been losing a ton of people.
Okay, but there's other people on the train, Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they can be under the threat of death. Meaning that she's saying no one else on the train dies.
Oh.
So they're protecting the train from a Grim attack. I thought that was I thought that was the point of it. It has nothing really to do with them necessarily dying. I mean, that is part of it.
Yeah, that
but
works.
I think that the threat aspect of it is that the Grim haven't been shown to be scary since the Nuclevi attack on Ren and his parents, village. And
I mean, that was just a volume ago, but yeah.
Well, as a volume in addition, as Volume 5 entirely separating that from the point in Volume 4. And then the last part before that, I think, was Volume 2 a little bit, and Volume 3 when they were attacked there, because the Grim attacks were separated by Atlas robots and stuff. So like the Grim aren't necessarily showing attacking people that many times. So we're left kind of up to the imagination of what happens when a Grimm eats a person. This could be the volume where we finally get to see, I would say, a little bit more of a darker, bloodier side of things. Yeah. And with the Adam character short, the Faunus being slaughtered, more blood just in general being shed.
Yeah, that's true. They did show blood with the slaughtered Faunus. Yeah.
And we have seen, like, you know, people being carried off by Grimm and stuff, but it would be, I would say, a cool thing to build up the Grimm again, especially if they have a big Manticore Grimm thing coming. By having, say, like, Flying Grimm or something bust into the train, grab, like, a child from the mother's arms and just drag it away. You don't have to show it being killed or something, but just the terror of creatures that are really... I mean, I wanted to bring something up here. This is something that... Do you remember in Volume 5 when he said, the humanity should serve the Faunus, when Adam was all like, because the Faunus are the dominant species on this planet. I love the irony of that, because I've always wanted him to have a point where he's talking to Salem, and she's like, you believe the Faunus are the dominant species on this planet. And then a Grimm comes up behind her, and she's like, what do you think the dominant species on the planet is now, little Adam? And he's just, like, I want him to eat those words, because if we look at the world, we know the dominant species is actually the Grimm.
Right. The only question is like, how much can we actually call them a species? Is the thing.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so, the main thing from this trailer is that they seem to be talking about just the idea of people dying, right?
Yes.
With the blood and Ruby's line and everything. Yep. So even if they even if they don't do like the baby being taken from mother's arms type thing,
right?
I would just love to see them actually, like, when there's a Grimm attack, show people actually being killed by the Grimm.
Yes.
Like not just like they swipe and they fall over, but like actually show blood. Like, you know, like, because that's where it'll be like, oh yeah, crap.
Yeah, like
even though these things aren't a threat to us, really.
Right. Like say there's a house and an Ursa Grimm like busts through the house. You hear the people screaming, and then you hear roaring, and then the screaming's just gone.
Sure.
And like, know they're dead. You don't need to show it. Like, RWBY as a show isn't super dark. There are moments that can get dark, but as far as like violence and gore and all that,
this is a kid's show.
This is for the most part kind of
kid friendly.
It's kid friendly.
Like even if it's not. Yeah.
But hey, I mean, this could be. You know, we are on that potential 3-volume cycle. This could be the volume 3 theme kind of cycle bit here. That would be pretty awesome.
I feel like if the next time we have a volume 3 type of deal, we're going to be aware of it, because the amount
before
of
it happens.
Yeah, because not like how, to what extent or whatever, but basically we'll realize that we're in the danger zone, because right now they've been doing a lot of build up for a bunch of different things, but not all like hinting towards some ominous one thing that's going to happen. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well that's probably only going to happen at the series finale.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, guys. This is awesome. RWBY's back in 11 days. Yeah. We're going to be watching it. We're going to be reacting to it. We're going to be doing discussion on it. Yeah. Great and good time to be doing it as well. I'm so excited to have back. I would say have this wholesome but fun and colorful show back in our lives again.
Quite literally colorful.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Thank you, Roosterteeth, for making this wonderful show. Thank you. Miles, Carrie, all the voice actors,
in the crew and works on this and makes it actually possible.
Y'all are amazing. And we'll see you in the first episode's reaction when the first episode drops later. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.